began where promises ended, unfinished and trembling. Love didn't save us after all. It exposed everything we were afraid of. He stood next to me, but the silence between us screamed. Something had changed, and neither of us knew how to say it. The world finally noticed us, and it didn't look away. Eyes followed us through hallways like quiet threats. Whispers clung to our names like stains. We stopped holding hands, not because we didn't want to, but because we were scared. Fear entered our relationship softly, like a lie pretending to protect us. I smiled in public and broke in private. He said we just needed time. Time became distance. Distance became doubt. Doubt became a weapon. Every message felt shorter, colder, heavier. I replayed his voice just to remember what warmth sounded like. The places that once felt safe now felt haunted. Our rooftop turned into a battlefield of unsaid words. We argued about nothing because the truth was too painful. I loved him louder. He loved me quieter. That imbalance terrified me. People didn't need proof. Assumptions were enough. I saw judgment in reflections I couldn't escape. Even laughter felt illegal. I asked if he still loved me. He hesitated. That pause shattered something inside me. He said love wasn't the problem. The world was. I wondered why love always pays the highest price. He started pulling away like he was rehearsing goodbye. I held on like love could anchor fear. One night he didn't come home. My thoughts became monsters. Every unanswered call sounded like loss. When he returned, his eyes looked older. He said people were watching us closely. I felt hunted. Safety became the excuse. Separation became the solution. He said he needed space to breathe. I felt like I was suffocating instead. The breakup didn't explode. It whispered. Soft words can still destroy you. He said we should stop before it gets worse. I asked if he still loved me. He couldn't answer. That silence screamed louder than rejection. We walked away in opposite directions, and I didn't know how to exist without him. Days blurred into something gray and hollow. I pretended to heal. I pretended well. At night, I fell apart piece by piece. Every song remembered him for me. Every place accused me of loving too hard. I wondered if I had ruined his life, or if loving me ruined mine. Fear became my shadow. Then I saw him again, laughing, alive, without me. Jealousy scared me more than heartbreak. I hated myself for missing him. I hated myself more for still loving him. He avoided my eyes like they burned. We became strangers with memories. The distance felt intentional now. I tried to move on. My heart refused. I heard rumors, ugly ones. They painted our love like a crime. Fear crawled back into my chest. I started looking over my shoulder. He came back, not with love, but with warnings. He said people were waiting for us to fail again. He said staying away was protecting me. I said leaving was destroying me. We cried without touching. That hurt more than the breakup. I saw how broken he was, and realized fear had claimed both of us. He said love shouldn't hurt this much. I said love shouldn't feel like survival. We didn't know who was right. We only knew we were tired. I started questioning myself, my identity, my courage, my right to love. The world felt colder than before. I considered disappearing. Then I remembered his smile. That memory saved me. Weeks passed, and months. Love didn't disappear. It waited, bleeding quietly, watching from the dark. One night, I found him alone, broken in ways he never showed. Fear had eaten him alive. He said he missed me every day, but fear was louder than love. I told him fear doesn't deserve control. He said he was tired of fighting. I said I was too, but I'd fight anyway. We stood there shaking, unsure if love would save us or destroy us. He asked, what if we get hurt again? I said we already were, but at least we'd be honest. Our hands met cautiously, like touching fire after being burned. The world didn't suddenly become kinder, but we became braver. Still scared, still uncertain, still in love. Season 2 wasn't about happiness. It was about endurance, about surviving fear without losing yourself, about loving someone when it's terrifying. We didn't promise forever. We promised honesty, and that was harder. The scars remained. So did the love. We learned that breakups don't end stories. They reshape them. Fear didn't win, but it left marks. Love wasn't gentle, but it was real. We chose to keep walking, even when the path shook, even when the world watched, because running almost destroyed us, and staying was the bravest thing we'd done. Season 2 didn't give answers. It asked harder questions about courage, about identity, about love under pressure. Our story wasn't healed, but it was alive. And love, wounded, frightened, and stubborn, refused to die. I thought the pain would fade with time, but it learned how to stay. Every morning I woke up missing someone who was still alive. Loving him after the breakup felt like bleeding quietly. We didn't hate each other. We just couldn't survive each other. I smiled when I saw him, then cried because I did. His absence was louder than any argument we ever had. I started avoiding places that remembered us. Even the air felt heavier without him. I reread old messages like they were goodbyes. He promised we'd be okay, just not together. That sentence destroyed me slowly. I wondered if I loved him more than he ever loved me, or if fear loved him more than I did. I stopped calling because I knew he wouldn't answer the same way. Silence became our longest conversation. I watched him move on while I stayed stuck. Seeing him happy hurt more than losing him. I hated myself for wanting him back. I hated myself more for knowing I would. We passed each other like strangers with shared memories. Sometimes our eyes met and quickly looked away. Those seconds felt more painful than months apart. I started blaming myself for everything. For loving too openly. For not being brave enough. For being someone he was afraid to choose. At night, I imagined what he was doing. If he missed me. If he still loved me. If I ever mattered as much as he mattered to me. I realized heartbreak isn't loud. It's exhausting. It drains you quietly until you barely recognize yourself. I stopped believing in happy endings because ours fell apart while still unfinished. One day I saw him cry, and it broke me more than my own tears. He looked at me like he wanted to say something, but fear sealed his lips again. I wanted to scream that love shouldn't be this painful, that choosing each other shouldn't feel like a crime. But all I did was stand there, watching us fall apart for the second time. I realized heartbreak isn't losing someone. It's losing the future you imagined with them. We survived together, but fell apart separately. Love didn't disappear. It stayed and watched us suffer. If loving him was my mistake, I would still make it again. Because even broken love was better than never loving him at all. I noticed him before I admitted it to myself. One look, and my heartbeat forgot its rhythm. He smiled at me like it meant nothing. It meant everything. I started timing my steps just to walk beside him. Even silence felt safe when he was near. Our shoulders brushed, and my mind froze. I wondered if he felt it too. I caught him watching me when he thought I wasn't looking. We looked away at the same time. That moment stayed with me all day. He laughed, and something inside me softened. I didn't know when admiration became affection. I only knew it already had. We shared headphones like it was nothing, but our fingers touched, and neither pulled away. I started remembering little things about him. The way he frowned when confused. The way he smiled when nervous. I memorized him without trying. He asked if I was okay. No one had ever asked like that before. I wanted to tell him everything. Instead, I said, "I'm fine." We stayed late after class, just talking. The world felt quieter with him. I realized I was falling, and I was terrified. What if he didn't feel the same? What if he did? I dreamed about him that night. I woke up smiling and scared. He stood closer than usual the next day. Too close for comfort. Not close enough for courage. Someone asked if we were together. We both said no too quickly. Our eyes met after. Something changed. He started teasing me more. I pretended not to enjoy it. I enjoyed it too much. Rain trapped us under the same shelter. Time slowed. His voice was softer than usual. I almost reached for his hand. Almost. That night, I admitted the truth to myself. I wasn't just interested. I was already in love.